Tonight on News 3 at 10, the latest on a plane crash in Lodi, what we know now. And Governor Walker has found himself on the list of possible replacements to fill a White House position. And another month after the disappearance of Jamie Kloss, people still have hope they can find her.
This is News 3 at 10.
A Lodi resident is feeling lucky to be safe tonight after a plane crashed in his backyard. Officials are investigating that Columbia County crash, which happened near Katie's Bar and Grill on Fair Street in Lodi. Our Madeline O'Neill has been following this story and has more from the scene.
The pilot crashed his plane here in a Lodi field after hitting some low-lying trees. You can still find branches knocked down. Luckily, the pilot is going to be okay, but for a resident who lives about 50 yards away, it makes for a story.
It's still kind of surreal.
It was strange enough for Curtis Gauger to see a commotion in his backyard Saturday afternoon.
It kind of had to look at it a couple times just to see.
He definitely didn't expect to see a crashed plane.
Oh my God, why? What the hell happened pretty much, you know? I hope everybody's okay.
This is really fortunate that this worked out the way it did.
Lieutenant Wayne Smith of the Columbia County Sheriff's Department says a Town of Dane resident in his 70s went to the hospital with minor injuries after crashing his plane here while on the way to a landing strip about a half-mile away.
As it was approaching that runway, it was too low and struck these trees, which is what brought it down.
Smith says the plane is a Sonix 393.
Certainly something that can be home built.
He's glad that aircraft took the brunt of the injuries.
You're first concerned about, how many people are on the plane and what might their condition be, but also when a plane comes down out of the sky, what may it have struck?
Oh my God, what if it was over a little bit or, it could have been worse for him too. We got a ton of trees.
Knowing everyone is safe, Gauger instead has something to tell his friends.
Definitely, got a story right away, huh?
As you can imagine, it's one that's gotten plenty of response already.
Is that really a plane? What's going on?
Gauger just hopes a plane never hits so close to home again.
Oh, no. This is a once-in-a-million thing that happens,
In Lodi,
It's just kind of crazy.
Madeline O'Neill, WISC News 3.
Columbia County officials say the pilot was able to walk away from the crash but was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The plane will remain where it is until the FAA and the NTSB decide what should happen next with the investigation. All right, let's turn it over to Dave Caulfield with your first alert forecast. It was a pretty beautiful day in Madison today.
It was so nice outside, Amanda. There were not many things that could keep you inside on a day like today, with highs close to 50 in some spots across southern Wisconsin and lots of sunshine. That sun has gone away, left us with mostly clear skies, so temperatures have been pretty chilly. There is a little bit of fog building in across southern Wisconsin once again, down to 23 in Madison. Calm winds, so the wind chill is right what the thermometer is suggesting. We are in the teens in Watoma and Camp Douglas, down to 21 in the Dells, still at 27 in Janesville, and much warmer closer to southwestern Wisconsin, still in the 30s. But dew points are still close to where that temperature is, so we could be seeing some patchy fog and could be dense in some areas overnight, pretty similar to last night. Visibility down close to a mile in Watoma, 3 miles in Madison, and 5 in Janesville. I don't think it should be as dense or as bad compared to last night, but there can be some spots, so keep that in mind. And with temperatures so chilly, it also could be freezing fog, so a few slick spots on the roads are possible once again. But even though we'll have a few more clouds tomorrow, highs will make it easily into the low 40s. When I come back in just a few minutes, I'll talk about how long this milder than normal weather will last in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Dave. A teenager was robbed at gunpoint, then forced to drive to a credit union to get money for the robbers. Madison police say the 16-year-old was sitting in his car on Rosenberry Road just before 11 this morning. That's when a teen and a man pulled him out. After a struggle, the teenage suspect allegedly hit the victim in the face with a gun and threatened to shoot him. The two robbers took electronics but told the victim they would give them back if he gave them money. The three drove to the UW Credit Union on Northport Drive, where the victim was able to tell employees about what happened. Police were called, but the suspects got away. The teen suffered a minor face injury. Another robbery, this time happening overnight. A green cab driver was reportedly called to pick up 3 people on Raywood Road in Winona Way around 4:45 this morning. When he picked them up, the person sitting behind him put something against the driver's neck and demanded the driver's property. The 3 robbers took off and were not located. No one was hurt, but Madison police are investigating. Verona police are investigating a hit and run that caused thousands of dollars of damage to public property. Police say a car ran into a control box at the intersection of County Highways PB and M around 8 o'clock this morning. The damage is estimated at $15,000. The car was significantly damaged, leaving parts at the scene. Authorities say they indicate the driver was in a silver Toyota Sienna minivan with significant side corner and front bumper damage. Police note the driver went eastbound on County Highway M toward Fitchburg and Oregon. U.S. gun deaths are on their highest level in nearly 40 years. A new analysis of data done by the CDC found that nearly 40,000 people were killed by guns last year. That's the highest number of deaths in 38 years. An analysis done by CNN corroborated the CDC study and also found more than 23,000 people died by suicide by guns in 2017, the highest number in 18 years. Another member of President Trump's cabinet is leaving the administration under a cloud of suspicion. The president announced today Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke will step down by the end of the year. Zinke is resigning in the crosshairs of multiple investigations, just as former Trump cabinet members Tom Price and Scott Pruitt did before him. The White House revolving door keeps spinning, and Errol Barnett is there.
The first thing President Trump tweeted this morning was that his Interior Secretary is moving on, writing, quote, Ryan Zinke will be leaving the administration at the end of the year.
Well, I think he's done a very good job.
Last month, the president refused to fire Zinke and even defended him despite mounting investigations into his alleged misuse of power. The Interior Department's Inspector General is investigating several abusive position complaints against Zinke, referring at least one of them to the Justice Department. Last year, President Trump asked Zinke about one of the allegations against him.
He did ask Secretary Zinke just for clarification purposes.
Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said the president wanted to know more about a $300 million contract awarded to Whitefish Energy. The Montana-based company was given a lucrative power restoration deal in Puerto Rico following Hurricane Maria, despite having only 2 employees.
It will be a Congress of transparency.
Democrats were planning on investigating Zinke's actions once they take the House majority in January. The outgoing secretary released this statement today saying, quote, after 30 years of public service, I cannot justify spending thousands of dollars defending myself and my family against false allegations.
How badly do you want that job?
I don't want that job. I love the jobs that I have now. And more importantly, I think the chief of staff is doing a really good job. And most importantly, I think the president thinks he's doing a great job as well. I believe so.
Meanwhile, despite Budget Director Mick Mulvaney telling CBS News in February he was not interested in being President Trump's chief of staff, he has now been tapped for that role, with the president announcing last night outgoing chief of staff John Kelly would be replaced by Mulvaney on an interim basis.
A new report says Governor Scott Walker is among the short list of people being considered to replace Zinke. However, earlier this week, Walker said he has received multiple job offers from out of state, but he wants to stay in Wisconsin. New at 10 tonight, it's been 2 months since Barron teen Jamie Kloss went missing. Today, friends and family gathered at Riverview Middle School to release balloons filled with messages for her safe return after weeks of no answers. The 13-year-old disappeared after someone shot and killed her parents inside their home. There's a $50,000 reward being offered for information leading to Jamie's location. Hundreds of families in Janesville will have groceries for the Christmas season thanks to the 10th annual Bags for Hope event. Volunteers sorted and delivered $80,000 of food yesterday, which will go to students who receive free lunch at Janesville schools. Superintendent Steve Pofel says winter break can be an uncertain time for some students.
Obviously, during the school year, kids are getting lunch, they're getting breakfast, they're getting snacks at school. But when we have breaks like these, kids go home and they don't necessarily have food to eat.
This year marks the 10th annual Bags for Hope event. Pofel says this year's sponsors allowed them to double what they could provide. Madison area comic book collectors got to do some of their own holiday shopping today. Collectors gathered for the Madison Comic Book Convention in Fitchburg today. The free event had all sorts of vendors showing off and selling pieces from their collections. Organizers say it provides another option for people to get into the hobby.
It's the only place now you can get comics is comic stores, or a comic show. You can't go to the grocery store or the drugstore.
The comic convention will be back in April for another sale. When we come back, it's a day to remember those who served in the armed services and are no longer with us. How Wreaths Across America is honoring them this holiday season. A new computer game puts players in the shoes of migrants desperate to reach Europe. Creators are hoping to highlight refugee struggles around the world. Gwen Baumgartner reports from London.
A human rights group is using this virtual game to change reality for migrants. Campaigners are urging players and government leaders to empathize with families attempting to cross borders into Europe.
It seems like we stopped caring. It seems like we have accepted it as a given reality.
The game is called Razor Wire, and each move puts players in the footsteps of European refugees on their journey to find a new life.
They have to travel at night. They have to avoid the police. They are often robbed, or their documents are taken away by the police.
The game has 3 levels, including escaping a war-torn country, dodging a police raid at a migrant camp, and crossing a river while avoiding bodies of others who have died during the trip. Creators say real-life refugees refer to the journey as a game of survival.
Many of them have tried the game 10 times or more, and they continue trying until they enter Europe.
But winning the game is nearly impossible since players, just like refugees, only have one life.
The nonprofit group Today is a New Day created the game in Slovenia last month. They say thousands of people around the world have already played it. A family who lost a son last year created a scholarship fund, and now they're bringing the money back to the community. Opportunity 34 was created in Will Kellerman's memory. His passion for basketball inspired his family to create scholarships throughout Dane County for other athletes. Today, his family is giving over $11,000 to students at Verona High School, where Will graduated.
It feels great because the farther he gets away from being a student at Verona, the less known he's going to be. And his old coach is coming back to do a talk, and it's just cool that we can make an impact.
The organization has raised over $200,000 in the past year. If you want to learn more, you can go to opportunity34.org. An annual tradition across the country this holiday season is giving people an opportunity to remember veterans who have lost their lives. Today is National Wreaths Across America Day. It's a day where fallen veterans are honored with a wreath placed on their headstone. One veteran out at Forest Hill Cemetery in Madison says more community support is needed to help honor fallen veterans around the holidays.
Now, it's a simple donation of support, but to come here and see that there's tombstones that say unknown soldier and there's not enough wreaths to even cover that, it makes me feel sad. So hopefully next year that we'll be able to see some more folks contribute.
You can help by going to the website wreathsacrossamerica.org. Looking ahead, it's going to be busy around campus tomorrow morning. The University of Wisconsin-Madison 2018 winter commencement is at 10 a.m. at the Kohl Center. Doors will open 2 hours before the start of the ceremony, and no tickets are required. Parking is free in all campus lots, and you don't need a permit. Tomorrow's keynote speaker is Bud Selig, Commissioner Emeritus of Major League Baseball and the founder of the Milwaukee Brewers. About 4,300 students will graduate tomorrow. If you can't go in person, there will be a live stream on the university's website. All right, well, they might have some good sun to take some pictures in tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the fog will be out of there at that time, Amanda. Maybe starting off across the area with a little bit more fog. We get into this pattern where at night and in the early morning hours, we have temperatures close enough to the dew point to get some patchy fog. After that, we enjoy a lot of sunshine. Maybe a few more clouds tomorrow, but I don't think they'll really dampen temperatures all that much. And temperatures have been above normal for basically the last week or so. And I think tomorrow will make it officially a week of above average temperatures. High temperatures today well above normal. 48 in Madison, 50 in Mineral Point. It's the first time I've seen a 5 as the first digit on a temperature in quite some time. And some other spots were a little bit closer to the mid 40s, some low 40s as well. But it was a nice day no matter where you looked across southern Wisconsin, downtown Madison. On the Edgewater Skycam, looking at mostly clear skies tonight. So that high of 48 is about 20 degrees above normal for this time of year. And not too far off from our record of 52 set back in 2011. But when we get these clear skies, temperatures really do crash quite quickly, and we are in the 20s right now, dew points in the 20s, so visibility is going down in some spots. 3-mile visibility, so a little bit of patchy fog in Madison, 5 in Waukesha, and in Kenosha, where we had some dense fog last night, already that visibility once again down less than a mile. So temperatures are in the mid-20s in Madison, low 20s in Watertown, and upper 20s in Janesville. Still some 30s showing up closer to Platteville and Mineral Point. But dew points are pretty close to that temperature, so that spread is not very large. And when that happens, when we have light winds like we do right now with high pressure in control, fog becomes kind of that possibility that's always kind of with us. High temperature trend over the week ahead. I think tomorrow those highs get into the 40s, but a cold front comes through on Monday, knocks us down into the mid-30s. I still think we'll be a little bit above normal, though, into much of next week, because this time of year, if you remember, we should be right around 30 degrees. And speaking of things going down, unfortunately, I think our white Christmas chance just took a hit because the Sunday before Christmas Day, the 23rd I was talking about over the past couple of days, that system looks to have fizzled out on our long-range forecast models. However, there are some opportunities for some flurries next week, so maybe some of those flurries could stick, and maybe a few more and a few more, and before you know it, we have an inch of snow on the ground before Christmas Day. The possibilities are endless, but they're not looking all that great right now. Tonight, mostly clear with areas of fog, temperatures in the mid-20s. For tomorrow, partly sunny, continued mild. I think even with a few more clouds, highs will get into the low to mid 40s. So first cold front comes through, doesn't do much tomorrow, but on Monday, that cold front comes through. And with high pressure still close enough, there we go, close enough to give us some sunshine, but those temperatures will be about 10 degrees cooler on Monday. So quick look at your 7 to 10 day forecast. We stay in the mid 30s with sunshine on Tuesday. Then you can see plenty of opportunities for flurries, but a lot of slight chances in there, not really anything definite. And the weather looking a little bit quieter as we get closer and closer to Christmas Day. Now 10 days away, and things are not looking too active, and for fans of a white Christmas, there's just not that much hope in the forecast, but keep the hope alive for sure.
10% is still a little hope to hold on to, so
Exactly.
I'm going to hold on to that.
I mean, I drink 2% milk a lot, and so 10% is a lot.
That's a lot more.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Dave. The Packers need to win tomorrow to stay alive in the playoffs, but the Bears are looking for revenge. That story coming up next in sports.
Well, hello. We've got the Packers and Bears Part 2 tomorrow when the two teams face each other at Soldier Field. Now, Green Bay won that first meeting at Lambeau in Week 1. A lot has changed since then. The Bears defense has historically struggled to limit Aaron Rodgers. He won 14 of the last 15 games against the Bears, including 8 straight wins in Chicago. That dates back to the 2010 NFC title game. So this week, Bears head coach Matt Nagy had his players watch film from that first game to keep his players motivated and hungry.
It's the human element of you always remember all your losses, way more than you remember your wins. Now, and they sting, they hurt, especially when you have the lead like we did, and we didn't finish like we needed to. So they remember that, and they feel. I want them to feel that. I want them to remember that, and because sometimes when you go on through the season and you have success like we've had, you can forget that sting. And I don't want them to forget that sting.
Okay, so a lot at stake tomorrow. The Bears could clinch the NFC North with a win. The Packers, well, we've been telling you this all week. Every single scenario that they have to make it to the playoffs, they have to win the next 3 games. The Badgers are a little more than a week away from heading to New York City for the Christmas holiday. Also, of course, the Pinstripe Bowl. This is only the second time in program history that Wisconsin has played a game in the state of New York. The only other time was in 1971 when the Badgers played at Syracuse. So it's definitely going to be a memorable experience for a lot of these players, especially those who will be in New York City for the first time.
I was excited, not where we want to be at the end of the season, but I'm excited. I've never been to New York, and probably 90% of this team hasn't been to New York, and I think it'll be a good time for us.
I was just excited, and I called my mom, and she was so happy, and she was just naming people that wanted to come to the game. But I was like, I don't even got tickets yet, but it was cool.
Bowl season kicked off today for the Bowl du Jour. We check out the Raycom Camellia Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama between Georgia Southern and Eastern Michigan. A lot of back and forth in this one. Late fourth quarter, Mike Glass III down the middle to Arthur Jackson III for the 5-yard touchdown. What a catch there. Georgia Southern takes the 21-20 lead. But Eastern Michigan driving, and Tyler Bass kicks the 40-yard field goal as time expires. It is good. College kickers, what? Eastern Michigan wins 23-21, the final. An upset in college basketball tonight. 4th-ranked Gonzaga visiting number 12 North Carolina. And Cameron Johnson came out firing from long range for the Tar Heels, hitting 6 3-pointers, scoring 25 points. North Carolina led by 14 at the half, 103-90, the victory for the Tar Heels. They are undefeated at home so far this season. If you're wondering about the Badgers, they won't play again until next Saturday, 11 a.m., again at the Kohl Center against Grambling State.
All right. Thank you so much, Melissa. We'll be right back. didn't really feel like December or look like December today.
No, I mean, it
weird.
was very deceiving. Mother
Yeah.
Nature kind of playing a few tricks on us, but I mean, this is a trick and a treat. And we're not talking about Halloween with temperatures like this, but we are experiencing a little bit more normal temperatures right now in the teens and 20s outside. A few 30s closer to southwestern Wisconsin, and a little bit of that patchy fog is back once again. And not Slim Shady, but it is a little bit shady outside in the way of fog. I don't know, that didn't really make sense. Watch out for some patchy, dense fog overnight in spots. Thank you. But we will be looking at temperatures back into the 30s and low 40s for highs with plenty of sunshine, maybe a few more clouds, and then the 7 to 10 day forecast. Chillier temperatures for next week, but we'll see some sunshine on Monday and Tuesday.
And guess who's back tomorrow? The three of us.
Yeah!
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Download the new Channel 3000 app and get alerted on your mobile device the minute news breaks. Wherever you go, be the first to know with Channel 3000.